African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of June 8, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue to conduct a special military operation. Units of the North Group of Forces defeated concentrations of manpower and equipment of 2 mechanized, airborne assault, ranger brigades, an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Pisarevka, Novaya Sich, Kyanitsa, Korchakovka, Iskrskovshina, Unikovka, Mariupol, and Sadki in the Sumy region that the Ukrainian armed forces lost up to 150 servicemen, 6 vehicles and 4 field artillery guns. An electronic warfare station and a warehouse of material were destroyed. Units of the West Group of Forces occupied more advantageous lines and positions. They defeated formations of 3 mechanized, airmobile brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces and 4 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements of Peskanoy, Algavka, Novovasilevka, Kupiansk in the Kharkov region, Zelenaya Dolina, and Kirovsk in the Donetsk People's Republic. The Ukrainian armed forces lost up to 230 servicemen, an infantry fighting vehicle, a U.S.-made M113 armored personnel carrier, a Cossack armored combat vehicle, 9 pickups, and an artillery piece. 5 Cordis electronic warfare stations and 3 ammunition depots were destroyed. As a result of active and decisive actions by units of the Southern Group of Forces, the settlement of Zaporizhia in the Donetsk People's Republic was liberated. The manpower and equipment of 6 mechanized, mountain assault, and airmobile brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces were damaged in the areas of the settlements of Sviatopokrovskoye, Svanovka, Chesavyar, Seversk, Pozino, Minkovka, Kramatorsk, Privoli, Pleshchievka, and Konstantinovka of the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost over 170 servicemen, 5 vehicles and 5 field artillery guns. 2 electronic warfare stations and an ammunition depot were destroyed. Units of the 90th Tank Division of the Center Forces Group have reached the western border of the Donetsk People's Republic and continue to develop the offensive in the territory of the Dnipropetrovsk region. Formations of 4 mechanized, assault, 2 airborne assault brigades, a brigade of unmanned systems of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 2 brigades of Marines and 3 brigades of the National Guard were defeated in the areas of the settlements of Dmitrov, Krasnoarmeysk, Petrovskoye, Novotoretskoye, Novopavlovka, Novonikolayevka, Alexievka, Novokrinka, and Novosergivka of the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy's losses amounted to 530 servicemen, an infantry fighting vehicle, an M113 armored personnel carrier made in the USA, 7 armored combat vehicles, 4 cars, 10 artillery pieces, including a 155mm self-propelled artillery unit Paladin made in the United States and a 155mm self-propelled artillery unit Caesar made in France. An ammunition depot was destroyed. Units of the East Group of Forces continue to advance into the depths of the enemy's defense. They defeated the manpower and equipment of the Marine Brigade and the Territorial Defense Brigade in the areas of the settlements of Komar in the Donetsk People's Republic, Guliapol and Malinovka in the Zaporizhia region. The Ukrainian armed forces lost more than 185 servicemen, 3 combat armored vehicles, 5 vehicles, and 8 field artillery pieces, including the U.S.-made 155mm Paladin self-propelled artillery unit and a U.S.-made 155mm M198 howitzer, as well as the Bogdana 155mm self-propelled artillery unit. Units of the Dnipro Group of Forces defeated formations of 2 mechanized, mountain assault brigades, 3 coastal defense brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces, 2 territorial defense brigades and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements of Stepovo, Novoandrievka, Belogori, Kamensko, Orkhov in the Zaporizhia region, Lvovo, and Antonovka in the Kherson region that the enemy lost up to 95 servicemen, an Italian-made Iveco armored combat vehicle, 8 vehicles, a Polish-made Krab 155mm self-propelled artillery unit, a US-made HIMARS multiple launch rocket system launcher, an American-made and TPQ-36 counter-battery station, and an Israeli-made Rada RPS-82 radar station, as well as 5 electronic warfare stations and an ammunition depot were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile forces, and artillery of the Russian armed forces groups have damaged a workshop for the production of unmanned aerial vehicles and their storage sites, a training center for unmanned aerial vehicle operators, ammunition depots, temporary deployment points for Ukrainian armed forces units and foreign mercenaries in 139 districts. Air defense systems shot down 131 unmanned aerial vehicles of the aircraft type, including 73 outside the Special Military Operations Zone. In total, since the beginning of the Special Military Operation, the following have been destroyed: 663 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 62,255 unmanned aerial vehicles, 610 anti-aircraft missile systems, 23,816 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,571 combat vehicles of multiple launch rocket systems, 25,880 field artillery pieces and mortars, 36,629 units of special military vehicles. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.